Hey guys, Hyrid here. I just got back from watching Transformers 4 Age of Extinction, or just Transformers Age of Extinction. Now, I'm gonna say this right now. It is a long movie. It was 3 hours, I guess with trailers included. So I'm very tired right now, but I'm still gonna make this review anyways. Where do I start? It's the best Transformers movie made. Which is saying much and not saying much, because it's saying much because that's a good thing. You know, it looks like they're probably going to make a new Transformers trilogy. Will Michael Bay be on it the whole time as director? I don't know. Probably he'll be in some sort of consulting manner, creatively, just like Jon Favreau was for the Iron Man 3 movie, just like how I assume Mark Webb will be for Amazing Spider-Man 4, because he's not going to make a he's not going to make a fourth one, but he will do the third one. Yeah, I don't know. They set up for a lot of things here. Now, to, I guess, put it simply, there'll be brief spoilers in this. I'm not going to say any spoilers that would ruin the movie, but the stuff I say, you know, if you look more into it, like if you Google it online, it probably will spoil it. So, there you go. I'll put spoilers in the title anyways, and if I do say spoilers, I'll try leaving it for the end of the video, so I can get the actual review itself done first before I mention, you know, any major spoilers. Now, let's start with the plot. The plot was fairly simple, yet I liked it. Now, doesn't spoil much because they've already said this in the trailers. Basically, the Autobots, Decepticons, whatever, the government has now considered basically all Cybertronians are enemies of, you know, the United States, I guess, or the world, after what happened in the third movie in Chicago. So yes, all that stuff is still in canon, same continuity. There we go. So, with that being said, all the Transformers, obviously Autobots, more specifically the Autobots, they're being hunted down by Lockdown, who's a pretty badass villain, I'm not going to lie. You know, great voice acting, all around great voice acting, but especially for that actor, pretty cool. It was nice to see in a Cybertronian that wasn't Autobot or Decepticon, but more like neither, because, you know, that thought was always in the back of my mind. Like, I know in the Transformer mythology, there are more than just Autobots, Decepticons. So I was waiting for them to show that, and it was nice to see that, that third-party aspect, so to speak. But yeah, so basically, I guess humans are also trying to make their own Transformers. So that was pretty cool to see. I am gonna say this off the bat. Now, they did introduce a lot of new Transformers. Basically, most of the old cast is killed off. Cast being the Autobots. The only Autobots that are really continued on are Optimus Prime, obviously, and Bumblebee, who's like the series fan favorite. Now, I am also going to say this now. Bumblebee in the other Transformer movies was definitely the main Autobot. I think that could be easily argued. You know, in terms of the Autobots, obviously Optimus Prime was there, but it felt like you got more with Bumblebee. This one's totally different. You definitely get more Optimus Prime in this one. And that was pretty nice. It was nice to see Optimus Prime more in the forefront and less just there as a leader role. Because he is the main Autobot, let's face it. Now, one thing I was hoping, though, is that when we had that red Autobot that was seemingly based off Bumblebee, I was hoping they would call him Hot Rod. I was hoping to get Hot Rod because I'm a big Rodimus Prime fan. And I was hoping we'd get Hot Rod eventually, and when they showed a red sports car, obviously, even though I know that's not what Hot Rod turns into, I was hoping that they would just, you know, pull those strings, and instead of making Stinger, they'd make Hot Rod. Obviously, I didn't get my wish. Also, I thought that one worked out really well, because a lot of people that don't know the Transformers mythos confuse Bumblebee with Hot Rod, even though, yes, I know they're quite different, but the fact is, you tell someone, oh, that Transformer turns into a muscle car, or a race car, they're going to think, oh, Bumblebee or Hot Rod, just different paint job. So I was hoping to see that. We didn't get that. Now, I like what they did with the human plot in this one for the story, because unlike the other movies with Shia LaBeouf and all of them, it felt like the humans were really forced into the movie. And that obviously didn't mesh well with a lot of people, because a lot of people complained about that. In this one, the humans actually have a very organic, pun intended, I guess, organic way of being into the story. Humans are the villains first off, and I think that was a well, they're not the only villains, but they're like the main villains. And I think that was really important to having a proper human element to the story. Because if you just have Autobot versus Decepticon and that's it, like the other movies were, it's hard to find a reason why humans would be involved. Like, yes, it's on Earth, but beyond that, there's no reason why you have to have human companions, human people working with you, so to speak, if that makes sense, throughout the whole movie. Like, at parts, I can understand that, but throughout the whole movie, especially over 3 movies, like, sorry, Shia LaBeouf, but, you're not that great to keep around for that long for seemingly no logical reason. Now, in this one, Mark Wahlberg, not a great job, but he does a pretty good job, I gotta admit. I enjoyed his character. I thought that the way they did it with his daughter, it was much more believable than Sam with, Megan Fox or Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Mostly because, you can kind of feel for him as a father, especially a single father, a single parent in general. All he wants is the best for his daughter. He wants to protect his daughter. That's all he has. That's the love. That's his child. So you do feel for him there, and that made a lot more sense to some of the stuff he'd do for his daughter versus like, Shia LaBeouf with Megan Fox or Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Not knocking down love or anything like that, but I just mean like the father-daughter relationship was much more. It was a much more stronger, believable bond than Shia LaBeouf and hot supermodel girlfriend. So that was nice to see. Now let's talk about the villains really quick. Now we have 4 villains, technically 5 villains. We have Stanley Tucci's character, who's not really a villain. I consider him more of a neutral character because he does good and bad, and his character's intentions are good, but obviously they come off initially as bad. I'm not going to spoil it any more than that, but his character's pretty interesting. I feel like he's going to be a stay-on. If they do expand this to be a new trilogy, he's definitely going to be a stay-on in the future movies. Now, the next one is Beast from X-Men. Kelsey Grammer, I believe that's his name. If I said someone totally different, I'm sorry, I'm very tired. But yeah, he was a very great villain. He arguably was the best human acting element, human character in this whole movie. I loved this character. Not love it as in like I want to marry this character and it's the greatest thing ever, but I love the character in a sense where you got an actual threatening human villain, and it was great. Like it was nice to see it, and I really enjoyed what Optimus did to him. I know I kind of hinted at something spoilerish, but I'm not gonna say fully what happened. Leave that up to your mind until you watch the movie. But the other villains they're not Decepticons. There's Lockdown, who, like I mentioned, is neither Autobot or Decepticon. He's a bounty hunter, Cybertronian bounty hunter who's hunting Optimus Prime. And then also we have Galvatron. Now, I was really nervous when they said Galvatron would be in this movie, mostly because usually Galvatron is an upgraded Megatron. And yeah, we pretty much got that. To some degree, I'm not going to say fully to what extent. My only problem is I feel like they're going to make Galvatron play the same role that Megatron did in the original Transformers trilogy, which was he never really dies, and he just keeps on coming back. And it's really annoying and repetitive and frustrating, and I hope they don't go that route. Because with Galvatron, they have a chance still to do something that they didn't do with Megatron, which was set him up to be like the big bad villain of the trilogy. You can kill him in the 3rd movie, but don't keep on killing him over and over again. And that's also something I was worried about in this movie because, frankly, in every of the original Transformers movies, Optimus Prime either died or he got extremely close to death and then something magically brought him back. In this one, I'm happy they didn't do that. Now, granted, he did take a sword to the chest, which begged the question, how durable is he that he can do something like that and then totally be fine? Apparently, like just fly off into space later on. But, as Optimus Prime, I guess that's just what he does. So, this film, that's basically, I guess, a brief overview of my thoughts about those aspects of the film. My thoughts before I go into deeper spoiler territory. I like this film. Like I said in the beginning, it's the best one yet for Transformers. And and that's a good thing. It's definitely a foot in the right direction, and I think if you go into this film expecting something really, really good, obviously your expectations are not going to be met. If you go into this expecting something along the lines of Transformers 3, excuse me, your expectations are going to be met and probably surpassed. I know mine were. I wasn't expecting much. I expected great visuals, but that's really it. And I'm happy we got a somewhat decent story. And it was, a lot. Transformers 2 and 3 had a lot of really ridiculously goofy elements that didn't really need to be in there. This one, it kind of had a little bit of that, but not nearly as much. Like, we had no deep wang. We had no dogs humping each other just cuz. And that was definitely good. I'm happy Michael Bay did not put that in there. But let's talk about the stuff I know people really want to hear. And by the way, I think people should go watch this movie. Obviously, it's probably going to make a lot of money, but that's a good thing because I think I'm really interested in seeing a Transformers 5. And that's because this movie goes into the mythology of the Transformers more. Now, it's not the G1 mythology. It's not the War for Cybertron mythology. It's not the, comic book mythology. It seems like they're doing a totally new mythology, which they're going to go into the creators of the Cybertronians. Now, I'm really interested in this because I was wondering if they were going to do Primus and Unicron. Definitely, it looks like they may not be doing that, or they may do it in a different sense. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Now, the Dinobots have been, how do I put it? They've been butchered in this movie. If you're a Dinobots fan, now they're basically at the very end of the movie. So you're gonna wait for them. You're probably gonna forget You're gonna forget probably that they're supposed to be in this movie while watching the movie because the movie's ridiculously long. First off, well, not ridiculously long. It's long, so basically you could have made this 2 different movies potentially. Depending on just twisting a little bit, a few things around. This could have been 2 movies easily. But anyways, I'm a big Grimlock fan. A lot of people are Grimlock fans. I'm a big Grimlock fan, and I was hoping they would do the Dinobots along the lines they did him for the Fall of Cybertron game, because I thought that was a really good job. Instead, they do something basically totally opposite. They hint at them being knights, whatever that's supposed to mean. Knights. They don't seem to have any allegiance to Autobots or Decepticons. They seem to be neutral, I guess, which kind of makes sense. But they basically make them somewhat mindless Cybertronians that are just kind of animalistic in a sense. I didn't really dig that. I was hoping they'd have the Autobot allegiance already in them, and Optimus Prime wouldn't have to do that stupid honor battle thing, which made no sense because it was pretty much, oh, I hit you in the face, you fall over, Michael Bay explosion. Which, by the way, there were not that many Michael Bay explosions. Like, when they were there, they were there. But we didn't get one, like, every 5 seconds like we did in Transformers 3, it seemed. Or Transformers 2, really. But, yeah, Dinobots, they might as well, at this point, I was just, when they finally introduced them, I was like, I wish you just didn't put them in here and just save them for a later movie, where you could do them justice and have a storyline for them, because it didn't seem like, it was one of those aspects where it just seems, it seemed like it was just put in there to shut up fans that kept on asking Michael Bay for Dinobots, and it didn't, like, they could have easily replaced them with other Cybertronians. They didn't have to be Dinobots. Nothing about their inclusion in the film made you think, oh, only the Dinobots could have been there. Because they rode them like horses. You don't ride Grimlock like a horse. Who the hell rides Grimlock like a horse? He's like 3 times Optimus Prime's size. So yes, I can see how he could ride him. But Grimlock, I don't see why he'd put up with that. Especially considering Grimlock's supposed to be stronger than Optimus Prime and much more powerful. Like, I'm not saying powerful like, like Optimus Prime's obviously a more skilled fighter, and Grimlock is a much more brutal fighter, more, I guess, he would be more Street Brawler-esque in a sense. But I'm just saying that that fight scene between the two was really stupid. If you know anything about Grimlock, because Grimlock would have destroyed Optimus Prime, in a 1v1 like they did in the movie. I'm not saying in other media, but I'm saying like they did in the movie. Grimlock should have taken out Optimus Prime. Speaking of which, Optimus Prime showing a little age. I don't know if they did that intentionally, but he wasn't acting as fluidly as he had in the past. Definitely, I felt like his leadership was coming to its end, which is another reason why I wish they had Hot Rod in the previous movies setting up, because this would have been a great chance to, spoiler alert, when at the end of the movie Optimus leaves Earth, right, to go find his creators. I was hoping in a not a perfect world, in my dream world, we would have had Rod, just like we had Bumblebee this whole time. We would have had Hot Rod, who would have been slowly over time being groomed to take over for Optimus Prime. And at this point, it would have been a great time to have Hot Rod take on the mantle of leadership and become Rodimus Prime. I just think that would have been cool. Obviously, for that to properly happen, Optimus technically would have to die for the Matrix to be passed on. But, you know, this is the Babe movie universe, so they could have twisted a few things around. But, yeah. So, anyways, this is my review of the movie. Sorry it's a bit longer than I wanted it to be. I hope I'm speaking coherently, because I'm extremely exhausted. My bags have bags that are being uplifted by the other bags on the other side of the bags. So go watch this movie. I thought I liked it. You know, if I had to, like, obviously I see it for free because I work at the movies. But if I didn't and I actually had to pay like a full price, I would definitely pay the IMAX price. The visuals are pretty good, and yeah, I really feel for Chicago though. Chicago really gets shitted on by Transformers. Like, insurance must be really high there. But all in all, I'm looking forward to this new trilogy. They're stepping definitely in the right direction. I'm kind of mixed though on them not ever mentioning any of the characters from the other films. Like, they never mentioned Shia LaBeouf's character, never mentioned Megan Fox's character, never mentioned Rosie Huntington-Whiteley's character, never mentioned the parents of, Shia LaBeouf, never mentioned the military figures they worked with, for quite a period of time. That did seem kind of odd, but all in all, I'm happy they didn't, I guess, because that kind of detract from this being a soft reboot. So yeah, go watch the movie. Tell me how you feel. Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? I was a bit underwhelmed by Galvatron, but I'm expecting that to be rewarded in the next film or the one after. So comment below, what other Transformer would you like to see? Are you like me and you really want to see Hot Rod? Still, you want to see Hot Rod? Do you want Bumblebee to get his voice fixed finally? Because they do have the material Transformers are made out of. So technically, with the technology they have, if they can build a Transformer, there's no reason they can't repair a Transformer. And I'm really interested if they do fix Bumblebee's voice, which I doubt they'll do. But if they do fix his voice, who would you like to voice him? That'd be pretty interesting to see who they get there. This is Hybrid, and I'll see you guys later.